Hey, what's happening, online members? Gary Semick's here, and I'm pretty excited to share with you some new information that I've been learning and working on myself with the help of George Summers, who is a sports physical therapist. He's been in the business for over 20 years, and he's very unique in what he knows and does. Pretty incredible. He's been teaching me so much, and I can feel the results are huge. And I want to start sharing that with you guys now that I'm starting to learn about it well enough to be able to share it and teach you. So I'm going to start with some of the basic stuff, and all this is relating to the structure of your body, the mobility and strength in the joints, bones, joints, ligaments, tendons, muscle, all that soft tissue, and how it functions and works, and how to take care of it and keep it at optimal performance. Because let's face it, as a motocross racer, you're putting a tremendous demand on the structure of your body, and man, it's going to help so much when you know how to take good care of it. And then the way we're going to do that is first with an assessment. So you're going to see important range of motion, if it's there or not in your mostly we're going to start with your ankles and knees, and then how it relates to your hips and pelvis, back, shoulders, and that's pretty much going to cover it. So some assessment there to see what your range of motion is, because you have to be able to move in your full range of motion before you can start strength training. And the way that we're going to do all this after the evaluation is through deep tissue self-massage. I'm going to teach you how to do that with a hard ball, soft ball, and we have another ball that's kind of in between the two. And then stretching, and then your strengthening exercises. So I'm going to start with the assessment first. Okay, the first thing I'm going to check out here on you is your ankle joint mobility, range of motion. You want to put your foot up against a wall, and then put this foot halfway between your heel and your toe. And then once you have that in place, you should be able to keep your heel flat on the ground and move your knee into the wall. Right there, I'm on the plug actually. Let me get over here. Line it up and move your knee into the wall. If you can't do that and your heel has to raise off the floor for you to do that, you need more movement in your ankle joint. So you're not ready to do squats yet. That's number one. Okay, the next test is in your range of motion in your knees. To do a squat, you have to be able to keep the weight on your heels and go all the way down into a squat position. If your knees can't bend that far, then we have to get that knee mobility before you're ready to do squats. The next thing that we're going to have to check, make sure it's working right on you, is your pelvis mobility, your hip mobility. And to do that, you're just going to bend your knees slightly. I mean, very slight. You don't have to lock them, but keep them slightly bent. And rotate your pelvis back by arching your back, and then rotate it under. So you got that mobility like this in your pelvic tilt. If you can't do that, we're going to have to get that mobility working before you're ready to do a lot of the exercises. And while we're on that section, your hips and pelvis, when you do a lot of these exercises I'm going to show you, you have to hold your hips and pelvis in the neutral position. That's right in the middle. And you notice if I'm just standing without doing anything and I activate my abs, it's going to rotate my hips under a little bit. This opens up your spine down here to give it protection. You don't want to rotate it way under, but just by turning your abs on a little bit, it has that protection to go into a squat with a lot of weight and come back up. And also, when you're doing the straight-legged deadlifts, it's the same thing. You have to activate your abs and then keep them activated as you're doing the straight leg deadlift. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. So you would do it like this. Abs stay activated to protect your spine. And then as you get to the top, about 3/4 of the way up, you're going to tighten your glutes too. And that helps you come to the standing position. And everything is protected because your glutes are activated, your abs are activated, your spine is protected. That's core strength. A lot of people, including myself, I wasn't using my core strength properly. I didn't have a lot of core strength to begin with, but I wasn't using it properly to protect my spine. So a lot of the work we're going to be doing is on core strength. But first we have to make sure that everything is mobile enough to do the strengthening. Okay, moving on up the body. I'm going to talk a little bit about the chest and back and shoulders. You want full range of motion back like this. I mean, if you have a problem putting both arms way back behind you, then you have a problem with your shoulder somewhere. So let me know and we'll have to figure something out for that. But full range of motion back like this is going to be important so your back can arch a lot. Of course, everybody can go like this. That's really easy. Shouldn't have any issues with that. Also, as far as your shoulders are concerned, keeping your arms back like this and being able to raise your arms up over your head, that's another thing you're going to have to be able to do without any pain in your shoulders, any discomfort or pain. So those are just the steps that we have to make sure you're able to do before we start building any strength.